Right, hello and welcome to a lap of the Isle of Man TT course on Assetto Corsa in a Mazda MX5 driven by a Manxman. So I live on the island, and I just decided that as we're in the run up to TT, I downloaded the mod anyway, so why not kind of do a bit of an analysis of the mod from somebody who lives and drives on these roads, and also just kind of just a chat going around the course and my experiences. Now the first thing that I need to remember is this: the road actually bears left over where that grass is now, but it used to come over here, so this mod is based on an old road layout. Now I can't remember when it changed. It was after I passed my driving test, so it's in the last 13 years, but yeah, I can't quite remember exactly when it was, so I'm just kind of guessing. Now this is up and right a bit, but yeah, so basically what I've done is I've started where Mark Higgins starts his lap of the TT course. So for anybody who's seen the ridiculous like 18-minute something lap that Higgins did, which is the lap record in a Subaru, which was basically a touring car, from my understanding. This obviously is an MX5 on road tyres. I'm going to be nowhere near that 18-minute time. I think I did an out lap yesterday of like 31:32, and I've actually already recorded this video once. The microphone only recorded in one channel, and because I hadn't actually done a full lap of the course hammering it yet, I crashed several times and decided not to release that copy. And I've already crashed on the outlap here. Ignore that. That was me not really knowing what gear I should be in and deciding too late. So this bit we've got to spin. Now this was a problem that Higgins had in real life. His solution was to slam on a handbrake. I don't have a handbrake mapped, so I'm going to have to come into that a lot wider. I need to remember, but yeah, basically that was me just the reason I started back there was just so I'm not on freezing cold tyres. And now we're on to Glencoe Street Road and we're starting a lap of the Isle of Man TT course. I'm just going to talk you through the mod, and also little random bits of information. So we've got a football club on the left hand side here in real life, which is sort of there, but it's a bit too treed. Then we've got the grandstand, which obviously looks a little bit different, but I mean, other than the colour, it all looks good. We should have a crematorium on the right hand side here, but this is the bit that everybody knows. We're at the top of Bray Hill already. Got to keep left, blend over to the right, then we're back, keeping hard left down here, and then aiming for the traffic light now. Come past it, and then we should have Aggo's Leap should be about there. Should be a little bit steeper, there should be a rise, and then there's a second rise here before we flatten off, and then we come down. We've got a road joining us on the left here. That's my cue to come off the throttle. Second road for the estate is hard on the brakes. That's as fast as this car goes on this course, just because it's a naturally aspirated MX5. It just doesn't have the power, and for some reason it won't pull on the flat. Now the elevation changes is something that's a little bit wrong in here, and on the right hand side there should be a rugby club. It shouldn't have any hedge there, it should just be that wall with some trees and a rugby club. The hedge should start about here where it disappears, and then yeah, so we're going. The reason I've chosen such a slow car, I say slow in inverted commas because I can't drive it, is two reasons. I'm not the best sim driver in the world, and also if I tried to talk and drive anything quicker, we'd just be hitting walls all day. I've got damage off. I've got fuel consumption off because this car can only do one lap of this course on a full tank. I learned that the hard way the first time I tried it with fuel on. So sorry, I've got to come off throttle a little bit here and then brake down a gear. This is a little bit wrong, but not too bad. This should be a bit steeper down, and there shouldn't be a wall on the inside, because really on the inside there you can almost go off the road in a car and clip a bit of like, it's a concrete or a slabbed drive of an industrial estate that you can kind of clip the exit of there. But, I mean, like I say, this now all should be uphill. I'm a little disappointed that it isn't, because it should be uphill, flatten out, turn right. There should be a campsite on the left here. And then it should be down and up, and there's no down and up at all. So this should be sharp downhill, bottom of the hill here, back up, flatten out, and then this is Balacraine. This is where Guy Martin had his big crash. You've seen, I'm sure if you know the TT course, you've seen the pictures of the fireball all down along here. I think that was 2010. Yeah, so we're coming through Glenvine at the moment, and now we're on our way out to Crosby. I mean, we're missing a couple of landmark kind of things on the left and right here, but nothing major. And then this course is, this corner is a little bit different than in real life, but not much. Pretty perfect. And then we should start climbing hill at this crossroads here. There's now a co-op on the left hand side. This should all be uphill. That's Crosby Pub on the right. This should be slightly less steep but still uphill, and there should be a crest here where the bikes actually take off. They roll off the throttle because they don't want to take off, but yeah, big crest. Then it should be downhill down here, and as you can see, because I've changed up to fifth, if it was downhill I'd start accelerating still, but I'm not, so the elevation is a little bit off, but I mean other than that we're kind of alright. You've got Grebe Veranda here, come off the throttle because Grebe Castle should be in front of us. That should be a bit sharper left, and this should be a bit more uphill, but I mean you can tell, I can tell where I am. This is the bit where I know the road the most. I lived in Grebe for 16 years and drove between Peel and Douglas on this road for a lot longer afterwards, so this is kind of the bit of the road I know the most. We're actually coming up to my old house on the left in a second. So we've got Grebe Bridge here. Oh, probably a little bit late now, I'm alright. Over that rise, there should be a bus stop on the left here, and then that house there on the left is my old house. And we've got the pub here on the left hand side, Hawthorne Pub, where it's more of a restaurant now. And this is Gorsley. This is one of the places that people say you should watch. They're doing about 170 mile an hour here. There's a wall on the left that you can sit on. Oh, I've forgotten about the corner because I'm talking too much. But yeah, and now we're on the run down to Balacraine and St John's. And yeah, we're just kind of absolutely flat out now. It was that for a breakout, I think. Or probably a little bit early. And now we're on the run out of Balacraine now. For those of you that do watch the TT, there's a local rider called Milky Quail. This is where he had his big accident that stopped him riding. He hit the wall on the left. There's a wall on the left hand side here, not these trees. The trees are behind the wall. And yeah, I think he was in the lead. He was tipped to be the first Manxman to win in a long while. But yeah, he clipped the wall, and now he's the kind of head marshal. He guides the newcomers around. And then here is where Guy Martin decided he would never ride in the TT again. So he had that horrible Fireblade and Honda Fireblade. He changed down from fifth to what he was hoping to be fourth. The bike took neutral, so he didn't have any engine braking, and he decided to. I think that was his last year. Right, and we're now at Laurel Bank. There should be a massive bank on the left-hand side. Oh, picked the wrong gear there, didn't I? Let's spin around. No, like I say, I've got damage off just because. It's such a long track. That's the first time I've crashed there, by the way. I've done this lap about 6 times now. Every time I crash somewhere different, I'm just trying a little bit too hard in some places, I think. You've got the Black Dub here, and there's a famous crash about 6 years ago where there's actually a crest here, and then you go downhill. The Bircher brothers in a sidecar just went straight on into a wall, into the hedge there. Yeah, so that's kind of a famous spot, and now this all looks the same in this. Now there's farmhouses and stuff that I use as a kind of guide in my head, but I can't picture where they would be. Okay, so we're now at Balacraine. So this is where the first commentary position is. So you've got Dave Christian is down here and commentates. As you can see, I had a bit of a spin on the outlap here. I think I tried to take it in third, and you just can't. We're up to Sarah's cottage, and I need to down a gear again. This should all be quite steeply uphill, and it's not, but we're now on the way to the Cronkabody Straight, which is one of the straighter pieces of road that's not on the mountain. All a bit of a climb. You should be able to do it kind of close to flat out. I'm pretty sure they do flat out on the bikes, but obviously the car's a little bit wider. And you come over this rise here, and we're onto the conquer body straight. Now there's 3 distinct rises you can see in real life. Now this hasn't really got them. There's a little bit of a rise here, and then it does kind of do it for the crossroads. And then this is the biggest thing I have now. In real life, there's quite a sharp right here, and this is just a tiny kink with a second sharper kink afterwards. So that's a little bit different in real life. And we're back into what is, this is all pretty good. Now I'm going to come off the throttle a little bit, around this corner, down the gear, because all of this, I've touched the curb, which you really don't want to do. That's a little bit tighter in real life. And now we're coming up to Hanley's wall. Now you'll see pictures of bikes right up against this wall. I've got to brake and come down an extra gear here because the curb is not there in real life, and I've touched it again. I've touched that and spun a couple of times whilst trying to learn what this thing is like. I've just realised I've got the filter on. Oh, you can see what the Assetto Corsa filter I've got on, but it doesn't really matter. And we're off out towards the top of Garrow. Now the top of Garrow and bottom of Garrow are good places to watch. I know that I just need to roll off the throttle a little bit at the top here so I can make the corner. Now the bottom of the Garrow, there's a massive compression, and it's where the bikes kind of set how hard they've got to have their suspension, because the bike compresses fully on a dip on the inside. It's just not here. Right where that car is now, where I said there's a massive dip on the inside of that corner, and the bike fully compresses. And like if I did that in a Mazda at that speed in real life, you would absolutely wreck the suspension. You'd throw yourself off. Now I've got to come down to third. I'm getting a little bit better. This is supposed to go down a little bit more, and it's supposed to be a bit darker with shadows. And then we're on the climb now, up and straight, and now we're on off out to Kirk Michael. Again, that bit is a little bit different than how it is in my mind's eye, but it's so really it's almost insignificant how much it is, but at the same time it's really off-putting that everything is so close but not quite right. Oh, I've touched the curb a little bit again there, but yeah, we're into Kirk Michael now. Most of these are people's houses. You've got the car dealership on your right, you've got a couple of shops down here, but other than that, these are all people's houses. The road is a bit narrower than this. The the pavements on either side are very, very narrow, and you've got kind of, like the bikes coming through here at about 160 by the time they're leaving. Obviously I'm doing 100. This bit is another bit where there should be some rises and some falls that just aren't here, but I mean the person who's made this has put thousands and thousands of hours into this. I would assume, and it's almost perfect, considering that this is a community mod. It's not the actual game itself. This is something you're going to download separately. Now, if anybody's watched Mark Higgins' lap, there's a section here. Now I can't tell where it is because we're missing some farm lanes, we're missing some back roads, and we're missing some buildings that kind of give me a thing. But there's a bit on the left here somewhere where Higgins literally uses the curb. I'm not sure. It might be there, it might be here, or it might be this next one to open up this corner. I'm not 100% sure exactly where it is, but obviously I'm in a Mazda MX5 doing 100 rather than a Subaru set up like a touring car that's doing probably closer to 160, 170 around there, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. Now the game's got this as a downhill now because there's no I can't tell either way. There's no horizon to look at, but ooh, that's too late for this jump. Oh, that was awful. Can't fucking release this now, can I? Oh, bollocks to it, because I'm not bloody editing. I can't even remember what I was talking about now. But, I mean, yeah, here we go. So, coming out of Balacraine now. Now, there's a bit coming up round the left-hander here, where the bikes, this is where you see them come over a rise. They up do a massive wheelie and land on their back wheel. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head now. That spin's really put me off. But yeah, so you've got this kink left, and then there's a rise about here, and it's a bit further down in the game, and it's nowhere near enough. But yeah, the bikes literally come over on the back wheel. The top riders completely jump it for 40, 50 foot, and then land on the back wheel. There's a couple of them that had big wobbles there, big scares. Hutchie, I know, had a big scare there. And we're at the wildlife park now, which means it's time to brake just a tad, bring off the revs, and then I need to remember to turn in a bit earlier than I have been recently. We're in Quarry Bends now. Just a set of left rights on the way out to Sulby. We've got one last kink, and then we're on Sulby Straight, which is where the speed trap is for the bikes. Now the bikes will do 209, 210 by the end of this straight. There's a bit of a kink at the end, they just do flat out. And I'm pretty sure the speed receptor's just after the kink. But yeah, they're doing 209, 210 mile an hour on the big bikes, which is just absolutely phenomenal. Like this obviously, like I say, this car's not going anywhere near that. I'll be lucky if I do this under 27 minutes, and they're doing sort of 16-minute laps. But yeah, so they come around this kink, the speed trap is somewhere here, and then there's a big braking zone down to this corner here. And I've taken that a little bit wrong, but we're alright. We're coming up towards the Ginger Hall now. On the building on the right, just before the junction here, is a pub. It's a bright orange building because it's called the Ginger Hall. It's one of the last remaining pubs that we would go past. And now we're on the run up to Ramsey. Now this bit is the bit of the course I know the least. The rest of the course, at one time or another in my life, I have driven daily to get to work. This bit on the way up to Ramsey, I drive 15, 20 times a year, so I get a little bit lost. The only bit I know is we're coming up on the right hand side is where our Department of Infrastructure is, the vehicles that go out and fix the roads. I mean, I say that in a very loose term because apart from the TT course they don't really do anything, but yeah, that's where their headquarters is. But the rest of it, because we're missing any of the landmarks that there might be in real life, I get a little bit lost around here. Now I think this right sharpens and then there's a left after it. Yeah. Now I've nearly had accidents at this left in real life. It was 2 o'clock in the morning travelling home from work, and like I said, I didn't know the road as well as I thought I did. But yeah, that's been a bit of a dodgy place for me. And now we're definitely on the run out to Ramsey. I'm pretty sure on the left there should be kind of a fields with big trees in that have fallen over and just old trees and stuff. And we're definitely in, like I say, my worst part of the course for knowledge. But I know I've driven it a couple of times now, so I know that I'm vaguely okay to stay in for just coming off the throttle a few times. And now we are in Ramsey, so this wall signifies we're in Ramsey now. You've got a big stately home on the right hand side here that is now got a restaurant on the back, and the gardens and a sort of small forest area. And then we've got football club and a primary school on the left hand side, AstroTurf on the right hand side for the secondary school, which is this building in front of us. Brake slightly and use the bus stop for the school. We're good, and now I need to remember to brake earlier than I think I need to, so I'm going to brake at this building because the last couple of times I've crashed going into here. And this is Parliament Square, so that's possibly the biggest braking zone. Possibly down at Quarterbridge was. I say biggest braking zone because we're going a lot slower by the time we get to the hairpin, which we're coming to in a minute. So we get to here, and then we've got to come off and brake a little bit because it's a sharper right than you think, and it's a bit uphill. And then we've got a sharper left than you think by looking at it. The entrance to the estate seems to have disappeared from the curbing there. But like I say, I mean, there's mild problems that you'd have with this mod, but like if it was like the actual something released by the devs, then, you know, or it was laser scanned or anything, you could have some criticisms. I mean, this should be all enclosed and very dark and muddy as opposed to green grassy banks. But I mean, for the fact that this is something that somebody has put their own time into without being paid for it, really, it's just incredible. So we're on the way. That was Ramsey hairpin. We're now coming to the gasworks. Left-hander, second gear here, and right-hander, and this one catches you out because it's an ever-tightening one. And now we're off up the mountain towards the gooseneck, which really signifies the start of the mountain. It's the last slow corner. There's a couple of third gear corners on the mountain. I'm sure I'll screw them up and end up in first at some point, but yeah, for the most part, this is the last time you'll be anywhere away from the power band until you get to the Craigmore Bar. So we've got this tight gooseneck, and now here we are, and this is the mountain proper. We're on the climb now towards the mountain mile. I think we've got maybe a mile's worth of road to the Joey's Memorial, which is a 26 milestone, and once you hit that, you're pretty much on the mountain mile, which is more than a mile stretch where you can pretty much see the entire distance ahead, and you can see that if there's nothing coming, you can like fly on this road. And as you can see, like, you can already see a clear distance ahead. There's no set speed limit over here, and it just allows us to you know, this is one of the few places where you can drive quickly, safely. There's a lot of places on the island that have got de-restricted zones that you can't drive safely, and there will be accidents. Up here, there will be accidents because people will drive without a care in the world. So I think this is where Joey's is. I think this is the 26th. This does have a name, but I am terrible with the names of corners and stuff on this course because you don't actually use them when you... Like, if it's not a town over here, you don't really need to name it. I say a town in the loosest sense. Our towns would be a village. Our villages would be hamlets, and most of the villages actually wouldn't even have names if they were in the UK or further afield. That peak you can see in the distance is Snaefell. That is the mountain. I don't even know whether it actually qualifies as a mountain, but that's what the circuit is named after, and this climb is kind of all about, is getting to that point, which is the highest point on the track. I say track, the course, I guess. But like I said, I mean, this is the mountain mile. It's all just flat out. There's no need to worry. We're coming towards the end of it. You can see the end, just the distance on the right there. You'll see me coming towards it more and more now. We've got this last right kink, and then I do need to come off the power and onto the brakes because otherwise I will spin. Can probably go a little bit quicker there, but it tightens. And as you can see from the markings on the road, I did crash there on the way out because, like I say, the mod's not perfect, and also I'm a terrible driver. Hence the slow car. But I mean, even at these kind of speeds, you can see that, you know, if you have an accident up here, you come off the side, and that's the end of you. You're traveling long distances before anything happens. Now we're getting to the bit here. The veranda now. For those of you that have seen the Guy Martin crash with the fireball earlier, we'll also have seen Connor Cummins go off the side here. So there's a bit where there's a raised lay-by, and he hits the raised lay-by, goes down, smashes through some fence posts, goes off the side of the mountain there, and he's the next kind of Manx rider that people are hoping will get a win. It was him and Guy Martin were fighting for the lead of that senior TT, and both of them had serious accidents. Now, in real life I'm dead there. As you can see, I did the same thing on the outlap. Only a lot worse actually. So we're now coming to this is the highest point on the course right here. This is the bungalow. Now there's actually tram tracks across the road there. It goes down, it comes up a little bit this side, but I mean, like I say, the elevation changes are probably the only thing that isn't quite right, and I'm sure most people don't really care about that, where, you know, the fact that this mod exists and I can get to drive roads that I recognise, and I can tell you where bits of this track is, mean that the mod is doing its job so well. Yeah, so we've got left here at the turn, not Faulty Well was the last one. The Benny Pot Road goes down at where that hook was on the right, just back there. And now we're coming out. Now I know that we're at the 33rd milestone, so we've got 3 lefts here. These two are a little bit close together, so that should be 1, that should be 2, and then this should be 3. It's the opposite of miss, hit, miss. It's hit, miss, hit in the bikes. They make it all one kind of corner, and then this is windy corner now. This used to be an adverse camber corner, and they had to change it to like a camber that goes with the road, because of accidents that happen here. Now in the mod it's neither, it's just kind of like a road with a little bit of a rise on it. But yeah, they made some alterations there. Maybe 6 or 7 years ago, because there was a spate of kind of young lads coming up here trying to drive at their max, and that would catch them out because it's not as sharp as some of the other corners, but they can't do it as quickly because of the camber. But yeah, so we've got all of this now. We're on the way to Kate's cottage nearly, and where that hut is in front of us, they resurfaced that road. It was either before the last TT or the one before, and immediately it was maybe 2 weeks before TT, and the day that it opened, somebody treated it like a bedded in piece of road in an Audi TT and went straight off the side of the road. It was quite funny. That's Kate's cottage, which means we know that we're on the run down to the Craig the Bar, which is where we started the lap now. From now, you'd have people sat on the hedge on the left here on TT. The families back in the fields, and the hardcore bikers are down here on the hedge watching. The bikes are so quick into here. I think they do that in 3rd gear, and then they're accelerating off away again, which is just mental. And you like in the old days, you'd have people on both sides of the road. I don't think you can sit on the inside now, but you can certainly sit on the outside here. And again, you'll have loads of people on the banks of this hill all the way down here. In my head, this right kink is a little bit further up, and like I say, this bit has changed now. This bit has changed in the last 10 years. This corner is nowhere near as sharp as this now. It actually follows that hedge on the left that you can just see with that massive kind of patch of grass on the inside. Yeah, the road literally follows where that hedge line is now. I reckon that change was about 7 or 8 years ago, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And we're now coming to Hilbury, which is kind of, you'll hear them talking about that on the radio. It's the last time in Beacon that they pass before they hit the grandstand. So when the bikes are here, they know that they're about a minute now. I reckon we're probably 2.5 minutes away from the grandstand. But yeah, when they come up that right-hander, they know they're about a minute away from the grandstand. So we're coming in now, and we've got Signpost Corner here, which is actually a roundabout now. It is a roundabout on this, so that's good. But yeah, we're through that, which is the closest you get to Onken. And now we're coming down past the Governor's Hill Estate on the right-hand side here. There's a bridge over that road now, just at that corner, to allow people from that estate to get out. Now the road the open road goes straight on here. This piece of road now is only in use for the TT that we're on at this second. It's only in use for the TT. It's the old road that goes down here now. I've done the same thing again. That's so embarrassing. I did that really well when I did that yesterday. But yeah, we're into Governor's Dip, which again you can't drive on as a member of the public. And now we're on to Glencutchery Road, and that is a lap of the TT course in a Mazda MX5. Now, I've spun a couple of times, so I'll be lucky if I can get a 28.5 minute lap here. I think, yeah, It's going to be poor, but let's see what we get as we cross the line. We cross the line now. 27.03, so not brilliant, but better than I thought. And that is a lap in a Mazda now. If you want to see more, I can do other vehicles. I can download a couple of mods. I'll just pull into this garage here, and we can kind of go again. But so that was a lap of the Isle of Man TT course in a Mazda, just commented on by a Manxman. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again maybe soon.